Armory disc golfers, welcome back to another video. In my hands, I have Discmania's newest disc, the Niklas Anttila Creator Series Drop. I'm out here at First Baptist College Station, gonna throw 9 holes, see how low I can get here. My record is 6 down. I'm feeling pretty good about beating this with this disc because I think it should line up pretty perfectly for it. We're gonna talk about why you should and why you shouldn't love this new disc. Let's get into it. I thought that was perfect. It pushed so straight. There is Coquito headwind, but I really expected this thing on that angle to fade out more towards the basket. Now we've got to start with like a 30 to 35 footer. That was definitely first putt of the day vibes. The flight numbers on the drop are 4303, so it's not supposed to be like the most overstable disc. What it's supposed to be, I think we know, is one of these, a zone. And it kind of feels like this is what everybody has been doing for the last several years now, is making these zone clones in their own company's respective approach discs. So we are definitely going to compare the drop to the zone later on in the video, but I will say they are markedly different in a couple different ways, which we'll get to. This is a 318-foot shot. I don't know that I can pipe just 5 feet off the ground, 318-foot flat forehand with one of these. So I'm gonna try to flex it in with a backhand to hit the angle better. Oh, I think I like that a lot. Stop. Went a little long. I will attempt to replicate that with the zone. Wish me luck. A little lower, a little more inside, but still a good show of how their flight paths can compare. Forgive me for that. I forgot to turn down my brightness in between me talking about the disc and throwing it. So I'm sure that was a nice bright flight y'all just got to watch. This was a little long, but we obviously take those. 1 down through 2. Our best score out here is 6 down through this 9 with the Mint Disc Taco. I'm shooting to beat that number today. The first difference that I want to talk about between these two discs is the hand feel. Now, obviously, this is a disc review, so they both feel great in the hand. But you will notice immediately upon picking them up that the drop has a slightly shallower and more rounded hand feel than the zone. If that's affected by the plastic type, I don't really know, because Discraft has like 700 different plastics for the zone, whereas we obviously have one plastic for the drop. But that shallower feel, I think I actually slightly prefer, especially on forehand. 205 feet, slightly left. This should be the easiest hole in the course. Well, I say should be because it is. Yeah, it's the easiest hole in the course. Thought I turfed that sucker. And shout out to the grounds crew out here, because if this grass hadn't been recently mowed, I would be looking at like a 40-footer. While we're talking about the plastic for the drop, this is a good time for me to bring up that this is in Color Glow Sea Line. It's really gummy. Honestly, it feels great. You know, it's a softer plastic, but it's not like so gummy that it feels floppy in my hand. And I think that especially once the weather finally starts getting cooler, this is gonna be great for those wintertime glow rounds. I am personally more interested in forehanding this disc than backhanding it, because that's just what I use this slot for more often. But I mean, this is just another backhand hole. I'm gonna go with a little flex on it again, try to put it close. Oh, not enough flex. Actually, maybe enough flex. Stop moving. Man, for a disc called Drop, I'm getting some push out of it. And for a hole that's listed as 273, I don't know, I feel like it's more like 250. And before I get too far away from talking about the plastic of this disc, it is available in like 3 to 5 different colors, and I'll let you guess which one of them it doesn't come in. Stay up. Yes. Yes. Love that. I used to make fun of putting with approach discs, but on windy days like this, it's become a thing for me. You know, it just is what it is. This is another backhand hole. I've got a personal record to try to get with the drop, so we'll get to forehands here shortly. Something else to note about this, Discmania has marketed it as a lower glide and I think even more overstable tactic, and I just disagree. I thought that was an interesting way to market this disc, and it made me hope that this was going to be a Prodigy A2, which I'm about to throw in comparison. Oh, stop moving. Okay, that's another like 15, 20 foot look. I'll try to replicate that same thing with the A2, and I highly expect this to dump out earlier. See, the A2, call me crazy, has more bite at the end of its flight, and that's what I was hoping for the drop, because I feel like that is a much more unique flight than just another 4303 disc. So the A2 actually ended up closer to the drop than I thought that it was, but I still wish that this was a little more stable, had a little bit more bite to it. There's nothing wrong with having another 4303 disc. This disc does its job well. It's just kind of what I was personally hoping for, specifically with the way that Discmania was marketing it. It almost, I tell you what, it almost earned its name right there. I'm gonna roll that back in slow motion. I almost got robbed. And something that I need to point out about comparing the drop to the zone is that there are so many different runs and plastics and everything of zone that if this one is a little more overstable or a little more understable or whatever than your experience with the zone, then you may have a different opinion of me on how zones fly and therefore how these compare. But there has been one drop of drop, so this is how they're going to fly. And this is another backhand hole, but dadgummit, I'm forehanding. I did not put that on as much ante as I wanted to, but again, another like 20 footer to work with. I will do my best, internet, to put this on the exact same angle and the exact same line for your comparison purposes. Oh no, it wasn't the exact same. I do think that those angles were very close. Am I wrong in thinking that the drop was a little more stable there? Just pretend like it was a different kind of zone, I guess. Zone is parked, and I just realized as I was walking up to this disc that I'm having a unique experience with the Discmania drop, because I love the way that it feels, genuinely, especially on forehands. It feels great. But because I wanted it to be an A2, my first thoughts of it were, it's not stable enough. I wish that this was something different than it is. But as I continue to throw it here more and more, I wish this was an orange. Tell you what, not a half bad putter either. At the risk of jinxing it, can we get a heater alert in the chat? I think I've only missed one, and I don't even know how many I've thrown off the top of my head. 6? Dude, I'm on pace. Oh, I just got all sorts of stickers in my hand. Committed to the shot though, and get to make another 25 footer. Ouch! The good news is, if I miss this putt now, I have an excuse. And actually, I'm kind of impressed with myself. I feel like a younger Nick would have let that slip up, get nose up, sail into the ceiling there. And now that I've got some more years under my belt, I think I pulled something. Pulled off an improbable putting performance. Let's go! Dude, I'm pretty happy about this. Exo soft drops? Just did the math, brainy guy, and we are through 7 holes and I've only missed one. I better not be misremembering this. And we have 2 pretty simple holes left. PR, here I come. Drops drop on September 11th at 8 a.m. Central Time. Grab those at armorydiscgolf.com. Thank y'all so much for your continued support. Couldn't do what we do without you. Y'all are amazing. And stay tuned, because we have some behind the scenes things that I think you're really gonna be interested in. This is another shorty. Again, this is exactly where you would want to pull out a disc like this. Nick, what are you doing, brother? I mean, what is that? What? Absolute shankaroony. I could not stop thinking about how I wanted to ace this on camera. Maybe I'm just bad. Really what just happened is, like I said, was thinking ace, and I was also thinking there is nothing out there, so I could just swing it as wide as I wanted, and then couple a little bit of grip lock, and now we have this. It's actually, honestly, an open look. Come on. Let's go, man. I felt so bad for the drop, because I was like, it deserves an 8 under because it's been flying so well for me. Freaking go. It's an approach disc course. I'm supposed to score well. I understand that. I still like making putts. This is 235 feet, and I am always short on this hole. So my objective is to finish long and to finish 8 under. I mean, I'd have to do something pretty freaking bad. to not beat that PR at this point. Nah, just kidding. That's going to be short again. Son of a gun. Why can't I put this disc under the basket? Either this hole is not actually 235 or I don't know, something's wrong with me. I'm pretty sure this is outside circle again, but I'm just gonna stand still it. Dude, I don't care how it approaches. This is the best putting putter I've ever touched in my life. The Discmania drop actually is a great approach disc. I think I did possibly a better job of showing how to putt with it than how to approach with it. But this is probably the most a disc has grown. My SD card filled up. I've got to stop doing that in the middle of me talking about the drop, and my stomach dropped because I didn't know exactly where it cut off. And I don't know if y'all would have believed me if I just popped back up and be like, I made it. So what I was saying was that this might be the most that a disc has grown on me over the course of a 9-hole review video of any of these that I've done. I mean, this is a workhorse approach disc. 4303, slightly more shallow than a zone, nice and gummy feel. If you like the way that these look, you can grab them at armorydiscgolf.com. September 11th at 8 a.m. Again, we would really appreciate it. You can actually go check them out, see the colorways and whatnot before the drop. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of this guy, what you're throwing in the slot if the drop isn't cutting it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bro, I just headbutted the crap out of that camera.